Impeach. Don't impeach.
That's what I said.
No obstruction. No collusion.
Well, I'm not a crook.
We have been given a set of facts.
Russia, if you're listening.
Collected and analyzed. Detailed in a 400-page report
Smoking gun.
by the men and women of the United States Department of Justice.
We got him.
This is the case against the president.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society.
Part 2. A Culture of Corruption. Clichés and innuendo. Shared experiences within the trade. These are the tools used by criminals to evade detection, to avoid suspicion, to carry out illegal activities in plain sight. Sometimes, all that's necessary is a wink and a nod, if you catch my drift. Paul Manafort knew that world well. Manafort's Russian contacts during the campaign and transition periods stem from his consulting work for Russian oligarch Oleg Deripaska from 2005 to 2009, and his separate political consulting work in Ukraine from 2005 to 2015. Rick Gates described the work Manafort did for Deripaska as political risk insurance, and explained that Deripaska used Manafort to install friendly political officials in countries where Deripaska had business interests. Manafort's company earned tens of millions of dollars from its work for Deripaska, and was loaned millions of dollars by Deripaska as well. Gates told the special counsel's office that Manafort's business relationship with Deripaska had dried up by 2009, and his interactions with Deripaska and his associates over the past few years involved trying to resolve a legal dispute. Manafort told Gates that he was owed $2 million for previous political consulting work in Ukraine. Deripaska seems to have seen it differently. He believed Manafort owed him for services not delivered involving a failed investment group named Pericles, where Deripaska was the sole investor. Manafort worked as campaign chairman for Donald Trump free of charge, out of the kindness of his heart, because he believed in the message of the Trump campaign, because he wanted to use his influence to get whole with Russian oligarch and friend of Vladimir Putin, Oleg Deripaska. Manafort was in contact with his former employee, a Russian nationalist named Konstantin Kilimnik, asking whether there had been any movement on the issue with our friend. Manafort even suggested that private briefings could be arranged. Kilimnik flew to New York to meet in person with Manafort. To request the meeting, Kilimnik wanted Manafort to know who was sending this email, speaking about an important event only certain people knew about. Just like back in the day. I met today with the guy who gave you your biggest black caviar jar several years ago. He asked me to go and brief you on our conversation. It has to do about the future of his country, and is quite interesting. The meeting took place, as planned. It lasted about 2 hours, because it is a long caviar story to tell. Manafort was selected by Donald Trump to be campaign chairman for his bid to be president of the United States, without pay, as a backdoor for Russia to control eastern Ukraine. What did Donald Trump gain out of the arrangement? A guy who knows a guy. Synergy. Help winning the battleground states of Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Minnesota by sharing valuable campaign data with a foreign adversary of the United States. Another way to please the president of Russia in order to secure his potential real estate deal worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Donald Trump's real estate empire is intentionally overvalued when it's necessary, for collateral to purchase more real estate. The values are intentionally reported as lower when it's time to pay taxes on those properties. All the risk is on the lenders, not on Trump. It's a giant shell game. That's why they're called shell companies. On the surface, they seem legit. Look underneath, and there's nothing there. The con wasn't that Donald Trump pursued a business deal in Russia while running for president and lied about it. The con was that building was never going to be built. Stand up for the rule of law.